This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're at the 69th Boxing Writers Awards ceremony here in the Savoy in London. I'm joined by George Groves and his amazing hair. How are you, mate?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Love to see you, KUGAN. Your hair's looking great too. Yeah.
This one's natural though, so it's not quite the same compliment, but
Mine's actually still natural.
yeah, it's still natural. Yeah.
Just been a bit of replanting. I can give you the full breakdown if you need to, but it's
It's a separate video. So.
Yeah, separate video. Farjo Hair Clinic. Get up there, Manchester. No, you ain't got to get on a flight for this one. They're accountable and they do a good job, a great service. If you're wondering, you know, if you want to scratch that itch, go for it, man. Make you feel 10 years younger.
That's a great plug for that company, by the way. I mean, you should be thanking George for that because that was off the cuff and very spontaneous.
They're great, man. They're genuinely great.
You got to go for a second, sitting, if you like.
Yeah, you can go for as many as you.
Oh, you?
Well, me, I will. Yeah, I'll be back. I mean, there's still an egg in the nest. I'm not going to show you now. You know, looks good from the front. Bit skeptical from the top, as you can see, being a couple inches taller than me. But we can complete it. We can complete it. We will. I'm reinventing myself. Benjamin Button. We're going to hopefully go back in time.
Love it. Do you miss it? 4 years out? Do you miss it?
Not at the moment. I'm really enjoying the sporadic media stuff that I get to do. So I was at the Buatsi fight on Saturday with Craig Richards for BBC on the radio, which was so much fun. Great fight. And sometimes the big fights are coming few and far between. Fights that you can really get involved in and get pleasure from. But I know Buatsi because he was fantastic for me. You know, he was a great sparring partner at the end of my career, at the start of his pro career. So I got to, appreciate him in that respect, and then to see him come this far. And Craig Richards, who I didn't know a lot about until recently, last few years when I see him before, I covered his fight against Shakan Pitters on Channel 5, and he impressed me that night. I thought he was an underdog going into that fight, and he was real good. So yeah, that sort of stuff. I get a bit on Channel 5 now. Channel 5 got a new deal with Wasserman, so their shows always fun because you won't get necessarily the biggest names, but you get decent names and great prospects who are now pushing for future honours, on the world stage and trying to develop their profile on a domestic platform. So it's great. We can. That's how I dip my boxing toe in, mate. That's how I get my fix.
George, we were talking off camera about, I said to you, over the last 10 years, there's been a core of British boxers that it seems to be with Kell Brook and Amir Khan retiring over the last couple of weeks, it seems like that core of yourself, Froch, De Gaulle, Bellew, Hay, now Brook and Khan, it seems like there was a kind of a chapter there of British boxing that's almost come to a close, and it's, when you look at it like that, it's quite sad to see, isn't it? A lot of people over the last 10 years, a lot of those 10 years, obviously you were an active fighter, but to see kind of these guys retiring now, it does seem like a little era in British boxing has come to a close. Is that fair?
I think so. I think there's a slight lull, really. And it's not necessarily the fighters. The standard of fighting is probably improving. It's just them big names, them marquee names who are in the big fights and having to battle for their supper, not just in the ring but outside the ring to raise their profile and whatnot. And we had some big personalities who have recently retired, and we're waiting for some more. With the rise of the heavyweights, since Joshua burst on the scene, there's been a lot of focus on developing heavyweights as opponents for these big guys, and I feel like the rest of boxing's been neglected in the UK to a certain degree, and obviously a few people have rose to the top. But now we need to have a refocus since Matchrooms, have now launched a totally new, platform of boxing in that, this is the Zone, an app where we're going to get our boxing fix, and there's going to be an awful lot of shows with some really good fighters, good quality fights. Sky are now having to pick up and rebuild themselves, and then there's other new promotional teams that are coming through. So I think it will come. It might take a year or two to see who these stars are going to be, but just covering the light heavyweights at the weekend, I had a list of names half a dozen plus of domestic British fighters who could be in 50-50 fights that would headline shows for their talent and their ability, not always necessarily, as you say, for their star appeal yet. But that'll come, I'm sure it will. We can't just be miserable and negative, KUGAN. And I say, boxing ain't the same since you retired, George. And I say, I know, you're right, it ain't been the same. And they ask me what can they do, and I say, there's probably nothing they can do, because I was one of a kind, and it's a special fight, special talent, inside, outside the ring. Had a couple of dance partners along the way, but I had to increase their stock all the time. They would have been nothing without me, of course, as you say. I mean, Froch was teetering on non-TV type bloody deals until, I came along and made him a star. He had all them world title fights, didn't he, and all them huge fights and all them champions, but no one talks about them to him, do they? They don't talk about me, because I am that star, and I bring out that star quality in him. So I don't know, maybe there will be another George Groves to come. Fingers crossed for that, AK.
Can I just add that since you did this, no one has arrived as a ring entrance to Wembley Stadium in a bus. I think you kind of did that and retired it on the same night.
I did. It didn't work out so well for me, so maybe I put a bad feeling. But I tried to go big that night, and no one else does today. No one goes big. That was like entry level one. Obviously, don't forget, I planned to win that fight DeGale at Wembley Stadium the following year, and then have a Cinco de Mayo type. A Cinco de Mayo type date in the diary. This was George Groves' date. Maybe like a Mayweather, like maybe the last weekend of May and the last weekend of September, Wembley Stadium twice a year. Think of the ring walks we would have done. I had a replica Spitfire plane commissioned, right, designed, drawn, full scale. It couldn't fly, but we were going to hover it in. Like Back to the Future, hover it in. I was going to come out, I was going to jump 15 feet, land on a big cushion, power walk to the ring. That was the second one. There was, you see the guys on the motorbikes, and then they ride around the globe, and then they set the globe on fire, and then they drive through the fire, ring of fire. That was me. I was taking motorbike lessons with gloves on. Didn't get the next Wembley date. Lost the fight. Fucked it all up, really. And then, to be honest, I've got fed up. Stopped thinking about the ring walk so much. But we had some, I say we. It was all me. It was always me. It was just all me. We could have done something different, something better. Took it to that next level. Now it's just Sweet Caroline, and that's it. That's what people are waiting for. We can do better than that. But live rendition. Ex-Fighters Club. Sweet Caroline on the stage, dressed up. Not me, can't sing. It's the only thing I can't do, to be honest, KUGAN. I'm pretty amazing at everything else.
Do you know what? It just dawned on me, over the kind of 10 years I've known you, how fucking weird you are, and I fucking love it, to be fair.
Weird?
Yeah, no, weird.
Do you know what?
Don't take offence to weird. It's just you are a bit of an odd fish, but it's good. I like odd fish.
All right, fish. It's a funny. That's a weird expression.
You don't look like a fish. I'm just saying you're a bit of an odd fish. Yeah.
All right. I didn't realise I was weird until I retired. Paul Smith called me weird, and then I thought about it for a little bit, and I thought maybe he's right. I mean, I was a bit different, and I think I wouldn't say I went out my way to be different, because sometimes I just thought being different was better. Obviously, it wasn't. It was fucking weird.
Fucking weird. Jules, listen, I think everyone's going in there. Just a final question. It's a bit of a random question. But when I interviewed Amir Khan for 45 minutes the other day about his career, etc., he did want me to ask Carl Froch why Carl Froch has an issue with him. What's your take on that? Why, if he has, why has Carl had an issue with Amir Khan, in your opinion? No, serious question.
I don't know. What's that? It's that film where they go, who is it? Someone just loves to hate. He just loves to hate. Maybe that's Cole. Maybe Cole just loves to hate.
It was a genuine question. He asked me, he said, do you know why Cole's always kind of perceived to be digging Amir out? I said, actually, I don't know, but I will ask him. So when I see Cole next, Cole will answer any question. I will ask him, but I just wondered if you had an inkling to what the kind of that perception of a kind of a bit of a weird situation with Khan and Froch.
No, I think Cole likes him. I just think that he's a misinterpreted guy, and real subtle, deadpan humour goes over a lot of people's heads. I've spent a lot of time with him now, so I see it and I get it. Just starting to catch on. Remember when The Office came out and the people didn't quite get it?
I was thinking of The Office for the last 5 minutes, by the way, but we'll come
on. He's Brent. He is Brent. He might not even know he's Brent. He might not be. He might be a bit of Brent. He might be the Brent. He might be better than Brent. He is better than Brent. Cole. Some people just hate. The film will come to me as soon as we finish the interview.
Okay. For a young boxer to win the Writers' Award, what would that mean for whoever wins it tonight? Because we don't know yet. Everyone's walking in now.
They're obliged to go on and win a world title. That's what I did. Won the Young Boxers Award.
No pressure.
And then when I won it, I can't remember who the chair was at the time. And he got the brochure out of all the previous winners, Ricky Hatton. I can't remember all the names now. All went on to win a world title. Amir Khan was on there, I think. Froch. All the best ones. All the big names.
So if you are victorious tonight in the awards, the boxing writers, basically Jules Groves is saying that you got to win a world title, otherwise what, it don't mean anything?
Obliged to win a world title, otherwise they won't invite you back.
There might be some truth in that, I don't know. George, appreciate your time as always. Thank you very much. Sorry you've got to join this queue now. I don't know if you join.
I'll join the queue.
I'm pretty certain no one here has done 80k at Wembley. Just so I'll throw that.
Well, I didn't have to queue that night either, so I'll join the back of the queue. I'm British. We like queuing. I'm a saint. I don't fucking push in. Not like you. You're always jumping in the front with your camera and your microphone, pushing in. KUGAN's announced his retirement today. He was upstairs, and I brought him back. He said, boxing ain't the same since you left, George. And I said, I know, mate. Stick with it. He goes, I can't get out of bed in the morning. I said, come on, stick with it. And I've talked him round, and now he's really excited about
interviewing you, basically.
Particularly this interview. And now, after this interview finishes, it's going to take another hour or so to bring him back. After the dip that's going to come after this interview, getting through tonight, we're taking on a day-by-day basis.
Day by day. George Groves, thank you very much on to IFL TV as always. Enjoy your night, and we'll definitely catch up with you again soon, mate.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, KUGAN. All the best, mate.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.